Welcome into another edition of The Meltdown. Today on the show, we have two new House of the Dragon trailers that have dropped. We'll give you our reaction. The new Roadhouse movie starring Jake Gyllenhaal. It was published on Amazon Prime Video today. We'll have a review. The Office getting a reboot? Question mark? Sure seems that way. There are also three other movies dropping in theaters today, and our Meltdown team is covering it all. And Lunce's lists will profile those certain feature films that shouldn't be remade under hardly any circumstances whatsoever. It's all happening right here on The Meltdown, presented by MyBookie, broadcasting live from the Culver studio.
Two big balls in a tiny studio, teaching you and me about everything they know that makes sound. A meltdown, it's the meltdown, time for the meltdown, coming for the meltdown, let's start the show.
This is where all of the Meltdonians gather every day at 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern, and we appreciate you being here with us, making us a part of your daily routine. Be a Meltdonian, not a Meltdowner, like John Lunsford. John, happy to have you here. Still recovering from Meltdown Triple Threat Trivia yesterday, which, by the way, I'm thinking, y'all want me to get into the rules again right now, or
Please
should
no.
I save that for next week?
Please no.
How much time do you have?
Did you add anything else?
Okay. John, how are you holding up this day after your trivia outing yesterday that did not go well, having the least amount of points scored?
Okay. I'm 1-3, which in multi-person competitions I'd say is okay. I'll leave it at that.
If it makes you feel any better, you are 1-2, not even 1-3. We've only played three
1
times.
and 2. I'm 1 out of 3. Sorry, that's what I meant to say. I can't count, which is why I lost yesterday.
Is your bracket going poorly or something? You seem a
It is
little
going
off right
poorly.
now.
I'm currently 0-2 to start things off.
That explains it.
0-2. I assume Duquesne won. They did. So yeah. But hey, doing what I did last year with our friends at MyBookie.ag. I'm betting every single underdog on the money line so far. 1-1. But you know what? 1-1 with betting underdogs is ultimately profitable. Just hit Duquesne at 4-1. You can do that too with our friends at MyBookie.ag. Use promo code next round. Get that first deposit bonus. When you put that money in, you can play in the casino. You can do all kind of March Madness specials and play some slots as well. Hey, bet on the NBA, which is, it's not only March Madness. Preds and Panthers, big game tonight. Hottest team in the league, taking on one of the top teams in the league of Florida. Go bet on that as well and go put some money on the Preds to win that one. MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere.
You may not be a winner with your bracket, but you can be a winner at MyBookie, John, and that is the way you're spinning it.
Yeah.
Producer Tyler is here. You seem to have a really good time last night. For those that have no idea what you attended, give us a little bit of an update on what's going on in your personal life.
So, for anyone who did not catch the latest short on the Meltdown channel, last night I was able to catch the North American premiere of The End of Evangelion. This is a movie that ends off the Neon Genesis Evangelion anime series from the 90s.
I'll take your word for it.
Okay.
And,
It was a packed house. That's really the moral of the story.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Dune opening night couldn't touch this crowd, Tim. It was insane. The only seats open were the very first two rows, and even those were starting to go.
You know who would have loved this experience? We should have had him invited. That was Spud from yesterday.
I bet.
Spud's lovely, isn't he? Isn't he a lovely breath of fresh air here on the show? He really is. I think he would have loved to have joined you, but this was probably sold out long before Spud could get a ticket.
Oh, yeah. You had to buy tickets for this like a month in advance.
Wow. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed that. Really enjoyed your review. Rockstar is here. And, John, tell me I'm wrong about this. Rockstar looking like Captain America from the Winter Soldier. Am I right about this?
Yes, the old plain hat to try to be inconspicuous. It does have a little logo on it. Is that a creature hat?
It's a creature hat.
Yeah, you had a hat like that for a while, just a plain gray hat. You couldn't figure out what to put on it, so he's like, yeah, I'll be inconspicuous.
Well, I got
so
two,
that's what he is.
I got two, not like this. I got two similar ones like this that I got off Amazon. They're just plain hats that I wear to mow the lawn, and I sweat in. They have no logos. They're perfect. They're really tattered and torn. I support nothing.
You do. I used to wear just a plain gray hat everywhere, and I got more comments on my plain gray hat than I've gotten on any hat that has anything on it.
Yeah.
People are like, what do you stand for? I can't figure you out. It's like, well, this is
Stand
why
for
I wear the
nothing.
hat, I
Yeah.
guess.
I don't believe in anything.
It
Leave me
works.
alone. I believe in privacy.
Here's one thing I believe in.
Oh, God.
House of the Dragon dropped 2 trailers today. I believe in House of the Dragon. Rockstar.
They got that new Kung Pao, and they got the Lo Mein.
No.
So they're opening another location?
No, this is not that type of House of the Dragon.
Crab Rangoon were good.
This is the HBO series that pits basically 2 individuals who you could call sisters. They're not biologically sisters, but they grew up together. They were as close as any sisters could be. And then all of a sudden they started veering away from each other, making decisions that affected the other in negative ways. And now we are going to see an absolute cat fight on screen here in season 2, and I know you cannot wait, John Lunsford.
I mean, I would say dragon fight or something, but yeah, sure. I mean,
You know what I mean.
works. It works. Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to this. I thought House of the Dragon was really, really good. I think it has the potential to be better than Game of Thrones overall because I kind of use the Better Call Saul Breaking Bad comparison that you learn from things, even though as good as Breaking Bad is, you learn from things to kind of make the second version of the show you're doing a little bit better. And I think Game of Thrones has done that with House of the Dragon. Max is obviously all behind it. We had to wait to get this because I don't know if at first people, they thought this was going to work. I don't know that every Game of Thrones other show they're going to do, the Jon Snow show, I don't know if any of that kind of is all going to work, but House of the Dragon has 100% worked, and I'm very much looking forward to this.
I'm so pumped for this. Sick Nasty Heat saying happy Thursday. Happy to have you here, Sick Nasty Heat. We have Brock happy that Laurel is in the chat. Laurel here talking about some slanderous things like side-eye to anyone who is Team Green on House of the Dragon. I am proudly Team Green on House of the Dragon.
Can I ask you something? If I did not watch Game of Thrones, can I watch House of Dragon and not be...
Yes.
Okay.
It's the kind of thing that, like, when they say a name, it's like, oh, that was in Game of Thrones. But outside of that, it's completely separate.
It's just as confusing with introducing 45 characters in 2 minutes. It's just the same as Game of Thrones.
I do wonder,
Pretty much.
your point, how many people watched House of the Dragon that was their first taste of Game of Thrones, and then they watched the rest of the series. Because those people definitely exist. I haven't met one in real life, but those people definitely exist. Maybe, Rocky, you could be one of those people.
Well, it's not as daunting. How many seasons was Game of Thrones?
8.
Yeah,
8.
It's not
It's only
as
2
daunting.
so far.
Yeah, so I could try that, but I'll give the first episode of the House of the Dragon lore a shot. I'll try it.
Well, it's
and
really
I'll be
good.
honest.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go in it thinking negative. I'll be open-minded.
Taylor checking in, saying hello from 32,000 feet.
Hey, girl.
Hey, Taylor. We hope you get to your destination in Washington safely.
With Nick Pringle.
Is that news that has officially been broken?
Yeah.
I think it
Yeah,
has.
no, we
By
tweeted it
Taylor, right?
Yeah.
Good work there, Taylor. Doing good.
Taylor has spoken. Tell us about dental stuff.
That made me smile.
Oh.
Something else that makes me
God,
smile.
There you go.
Gotta switch. Hold on.
That's my team at Alabama Dental Associates. Everybody's looking to pick teams this time of year. Which team's going to be good? Which team's not going to be good? Let me tell you, this is the team that's going to be good. Alabama Dental Associates. I love my dental team. I'd love for them to become your dental team. They're located on Grants Mill Road. Alabama Dental Associates, led by Dr. Jeff and Dr. Brian. They work as a team to stay current on all the latest advances in research. Your dental health is important. Make sure you treat that very importantly. Make that appointment. Don't fall off of your normal cleaning routines. They can help you make sure you're on track with all the latest in your dental health care. For more information or to make an appointment, call them at 956-8977. That's area code 205-956-8977, or visit them at alabamadental.com. I know that they look forward to seeing you. House of the Dragon, what did you make of the 2-trailer release system, Tyler? Because I thought that was actually quite ingenious with 2 sides of this story and people having to pick a team in this. I thought it was very smart to release 2 different trailers today.
Yeah, I really liked that, and especially how the 2 different trailers showed the 2 different sides of how these factions are planning on advancing their plot or taking control of the throne. One more violent and one more conniving, more political based, and I thought it was an extremely good idea. I preferred trailer green, but you can see more of that in our trailer reaction video.
Yes, which should be up here in a hot second. If it's not already, it was uploading. Yeah, I'm also showing the posters. I don't know if you saw the posters yesterday or not, but they have very much Team Black, Team Green posters for all the characters as well.
We have Russell saying, glad to see y'all got the Birmingham Monopoly game. We sure did, and it has a coat of green around it. It's right there, right next to you. You looked like Steve Rogers walking through the museum trying to see things. You were like just looking
He's
around.
gonna keep going with that.
But you really do look like that.
Thank you.
Look like you're going to go jogging with the Falcon later on today. But
Andre Rising, so I'll choose.
Okay. That's
not
not
where
where
I'll
you're
go.
left, but okay.
yeah. But yes, we're proud to have the Monopoly game. We're going to eventually open that up. I believe, Tyler, you did some research on the Monopoly game.
I did.
And Boardwalk and Park Place are what?
Boardwalk and Park Place have been replaced with Vulcan Park and Museum and Sloss Furnaces.
Sloss Furnaces there as Boardwalk. I miss Sloss Fright Furnace. I really do.
Fright Furnace was great.
I wish they would bring it back, but I know that they won't.
Sloss Fest was even better.
Is there somebody creeping up behind you right there in the window?
Yeah.
What's going on here?
I don't know.
Is there somebody at the window? Oh my gosh. It is. It's a special guest at the window. Is he waving? He's not waving, is he? He should be waving. Welcome in, special guest.
Yes.
Come on, get in here. Have a seat. Get comfortable. All right. I always love when we have a special guest show up to the window. You didn't do nearly as much waving as I would have hoped.
Sorry.
It's okay. You're fired. Get out of here. Welcome in. Get nice and close to that microphone.
All right.
We want to be able to hear that lovely voice.
All right.
This is Jammin' Jeff, for those that are wondering. Jammin' Jeff here with us, making his debut. For those that want full disclosure, Jammin' Jeff is my brother-in-law, and we're happy to have him here. Have you ever been on YouTube before?
No.
This is a childhood dream coming true.
It is. It is. So happy to be here.
The lights are always brighter when you're actually here on the set. One thing Jeff said was, man, this place looks so much smaller than it does on TV. And I'm like, oh, yeah.
I mean,
you're
that's hopefully the point. There's a reason it starts with, two big boys in a tiny studio with the song.
Yeah,
but yeah,
that's
it's,
true. I guess I should have paid more attention to the theme
making the
song.
most
Yeah,
of it.
It is much more intimate than what I was.
camera
thinking.
angles.
Yeah.
So one thing I like to do when we have a guest on for the very first time is get sort of a flavor profile of the things in which they geek out about, the things that they really like. And I know that you have a lot of passions, Jeff, especially for music, skateboarding, movies. Give us just a little bit of an idea of what your flavor profile looks like, some things that you're a massive fan of.
It's mostly all pre-2000. I feel like music and movies just haven't been the same since then. But I guess every older guy says that. Any kind of action, comedy, mindless theater, that's what I go to the movies for, to see, get to laugh and see things blow up.
So here's what I know about you. You really like Terminator 2, especially.
Terminator 2, yeah. I like Terminator, but I love Terminator 2.
Terminator 2. You're big on the Beastie Boys,
Yes, love the Beastie Boys.
music-wise. You're going to see Rad this
Yes,
week, and you've seen this in theaters how many times now?
I've seen it, I think either 2 or 3 times already since like 2020, which is amazing. It's back in the theater, but I'm dragging my wife tonight. So
Smokey and the Bandit. You're a big
Smokey and the Bandit.
fan?
I will be back at the theater if that show's back up. Love it.
And you're also a huge fan of Rockstar.
Yeah. I have he doesn't know it, or maybe he does know it, but
He does not know this story. You got to hear the story.
he was in our universe prior to this show. So you unknowingly stepped into a prank between my daughter and my wife.
They think. You may completely.
The jury's, I don't know. They say they're sure.
Let's explain this.
Yeah.
So
Little backstory.
for those that don't know, Rockstar is a musician. He works a lot of gigs. And have you ever worked the Pizzitz Food Hall? Have you ever done that?
A couple times.
Okay,
Okay.
well, that makes sense then.
Okay, that narrows down that this could actually work out.
Getting there, yeah.
So my wife and my oldest daughter have a habit of sending each other random pictures. And my daughter was working there at Yellowhammer.
Okay.
And she sent my wife a picture and said, this guy's playing guitar over by the garbage cans or something. That's,
Yep. That was me.
That's about all I know as far as that
That's
goes.
my music career.
Yeah. And so,
Well, first of all,
No,
I've
I-
never heard the garbage can angle. Okay, I would have probably
Oh,
said
no,
leave
I would-
that part out.
I would have brought it up because right where that store is located, because I have
So
to
you
use,
know exactly
I
the
have to use
settings.
their wall outlet with an extension cord.
Yeah.
And I said, like, I'm going to be right by the garbage cans. I go, but the sound of that room is so reverberates and it's so good. I like playing that room, although not a lot of people listen to you.
yeah. So my daughter was there minding the Yellowhammer store, and she sends my wife this picture. And my wife goes into this whole backstory that she used to work with you and tell you that she said hi, that your name is Steven, all this
I
stuff.
came up with a whole backstory.
Yeah.
So you're in this family.
Yeah.
This is what I hear after the Meltdown launches. Oh my gosh, you work with Steven?
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm like, Who the heck is Steven? I don't know who Steven is.
Yeah, she says, hey, that's Steven. Go tell him I said hello. We used to work such and such. And so my daughter goes over, introduces herself, and says, do you remember my mom, my stepmom, or something like that? And you had no idea.
Yeah, because he's
And
not
my daughter
Steven.
had no idea what she just stepped into.
Yeah.
And so it was funny, haha. But then I think ever since then, you've been a character in their stories that they.
The best
text
part
back and
about
forth to
this
each other.
is I just looked in the chat. We've got a Josie and a Carla in the chat that just messaged Steven.
Yeah, well, yeah, this is going to be some of the culprits here,
Yeah.
unfortunately, Tyler.
So I misidentified. That's
Yes.
just so.
And now-
Who
Oh, no,
is
they
Steven?
made this up totally. Like
Oh.
you unknowingly were there.
Oh, okay.
and they had.
It really makes my family look like a bunch of crazy,
Well,
insane.
they know how to have
That's
a
what
good
it is.
time, and we're constantly pranking each other. So it was.
So anyway, he's
Well,
getting to
pretty good.
meet Steven in the flesh.
Well, I'm glad that she enjoyed the music. By the way, did she throw her trash away? Because I would have seen it.
I don't know. All
It was-
I did
it was up right by stage
all I
left.
heard was my wife says, "Hi, I got Kaylee to go talk to this guy." She thought,
Yeah.
she believed
So
the
anyway.
story I made up.
So the only person I thought I was having a support from a girl, and then it's a prank. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
But yeah, you're mentioned to Steven quite a bit.
Can we call you Steven the rest of the show? Is
My
that
father's
okay?
name is Steven. Go ahead.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We're not the same age though. That's the other problem. So he's Steven and I'm Sean.
All right, do me a favor. Take that microphone out of this stand for me, Jeff.
Okay.
And hold it. Just push it through. Perfect. Because this thing's blocking your lovely mug.
Oh, okay.
And we're going to let you hold that. Yep. You're good.
All right.
Here we go.
Is that better?
That's perfect. This is why we brought you in today. Roadhouse dropped
It
on
did.
Amazon today.
And I got up early this morning to watch it.
Yes, and I told Jeff he's a giant Roadhouse fan from 1989.
Yes.
The Patrick Swayze
Dalton.
classic. Yes, Dalton. Same character name here for this one.
Not
And-
exactly, but yeah, Dalton's in the name.
Same first name of the character.
His name's
It's
Timothy
last
Dalton.
name.
Oh, was it Dalton that was the last
I
name?
don't know
of this?
about Patrick Swayze. That now, after watching, I'm like, was that his first name or his last name?
Okay. Anyway, we won't get hung up on that.
Okay.
Point is, Roadhouse has been re-released. You were
Roadhouse.
very excited about this film because you're such a fan of the
Yeah,
original.
I was pretty apprehensive, to be honest with you. I kind of wanted to be excited, but I was like, are they going to screw this up?
Yeah. It dropped on Amazon Prime around 2 a.m. our time.
Yeah.
This is a movie that has been very controversial. It's something that we've covered here on The Meltdown consistently, which is how I figured out that Jeff was even somewhat excited for this film because, John, this is a film that has been in marketing hell because the director himself is like, this thing should be released in theaters. It's that good. Jake Gyllenhaal should be up for all the awards, and it's criminal what they're doing in not releasing this in theaters. And I hate Amazon. All they do is sell plumbing services, and if you want pipage there, you can get it at Amazon. That's exactly really what he said. If you want like toilet fixtures, go to Amazon.
I have ordered a toilet seat off Amazon before.
Amazon paid this entire production team almost $100 million to make this movie, and it just has been the weirdest marketing rollout for this film. And Jake Gyllenhaal's had to be peacekeeper. Well, Amazon always said it was going to be streaming. Where's been your excitement level for this film coming out this year?
Nowhere, really and truly. I have not seen the original Roadhouse. I was not a big Patrick Swayze guy back in the day. The most Roadhouse I know is from Family Guy constantly making Roadhouse jokes. But, I remember Conor McGregor being announced as a part of it a while back, and it's like, oh, it's fighting, so he's a perfect person to bring into a movie about fighting. But Conor McGregor, I feel like I'm not a big UFC person. I feel like he has dropped off to where he's not even like a name anymore. So Jake Gyllenhaal kind of had to carry it on his own. But when it's Amazon, I never expect it to be a wide release. If it is, cool, I can go see it in the theater, but I fully expect it if it's Amazon MGM Studios behind it, I'm going to go to Prime and watch it.
Rockstar, you're a fan of the original Roadhouse. Is this a film you will be sampling?
Absolutely not. I was a fan of the original Roadhouse. I was 8, but the thing is with me, I feel like this movie has become Chinese democracy. You have heard a tease for this movie for the past, decade plus. Ronda Rousey was going to be in it until she lost that fight, and we lost Ronda Rousey. Like, there's been casted so many times, and now it's finally out, and it's on Amazon Prime. And the Roadhouse wasn't a theatrical hit, was it? It was more like turned into a kind of a cult hit.
Yeah, more of a cult.
But still, I don't understand why this Jake Gyllenhaal, that's great that they got Jake Gyllenhaal. I don't care about Conor McGregor. Like, that maybe 6 years ago they should have got. That's why it's like them casting, let me think of somebody, Ted DiBiase. I mean, it doesn't make sense.
The $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase?
Yeah, money.
I would actually love to see him in this movie for some reason now.
So that's why it doesn't make sense to me. I love Jake Gyllenhaal. I thought he should have been nominated for an Oscar for Nightcrawler.
Yes.
Incredible performance.
I think
by
Jake
him.
Gyllenhaal
He's a great actor.
The best actor to have never won an Oscar.
He's probably the main reason I gave it a chance.
Ooh, not even close, but I mean, he's okay.
Well, then who's number one on that list?
Stay tuned next week.
that sounds like a good Lunce's list.
That's a way to dodge the question.
Right now, I would easily put Bradley Cooper ahead of him.
I think Jake Gyllenhaal and his body of work as an actor is stronger than Bradley Cooper and his body of work as an actor. And I'm right about that.
I believed him with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
You
can
love
have-
Donnie Darko, and that's
can
about
have
it
your
for Jake
opinions.
Gyllenhaal.
Oh, good boy in the bubble. Or Bubble Boy. What was
Bubble
it
Boy?
called?
It was Bubble Boy.
Okay. Sorry. Continue.
No, it's okay. Just express your opinions. I
just made a
Prisoners.
face.
He was
Continue.
great in Prisoners.
Yeah. I don't think you've watched Prisoners, have you?
He was great in Enemy, which is the best Denis Villeneuve film that he's done.
Well, great. Even more. Source Code?
Yes.
I
Jake
actually
Gyllenhaal
like
was
Source
great in
Code.
Source Code?
Source Code was overrated.
October
I thought.
Sky.
October I actually did kind of like October
The
Sky.
boxing movie.
I'm not saying I don't like
Awful.
him. He's just
Southpaw?
not the
Southpaw.
best.
Southpaw was not awful.
Yeah.
It
No,
wasn't.
he was good on his part, but the movie should have been a series. It should have been like a little mini series. It should
Even
not.
in a movie like that I didn't really like, The Day After Tomorrow, didn't really like it. Thought he was incredible in it. I think Jake Gyllenhaal's great in almost everything he does.
And not bad to look at.
And this movie really, I think, focuses in on that aspect.
Have any of you guys seen John Mulaney's Sack Lunch Bunch?
I have not.
He has a part at the end of that. It's really good too.
Really?
John Mulaney's great.
I'm not a big John Mulaney fan. Either.
Okay, all right. We're going to
Why
find
are you even
something
here?
Lunsford's a fan of here in a
Yeah.
second. But anyway, Jake Gyllenhaal leads this Roadhouse remake. And by the way, Jake Gyllenhaal great in Brothers, great in Jarhead, great in there's some other movie where he like takes a sledgehammer to a wall after his wife dies, and I can't remember what the name of it is. He like fights a vending machine in the movie. Cannot remember the name of that movie. Somebody in the chat
Give
help
him
me
the
out.
Oscar.
Yeah, you'll help me out. But does Jake Gyllenhaal deliver in this film,
Absolutely.
in your opinion?
Yes.
All right.
I enjoyed it.
Take that microphone and pretend it's throwing a
Pop
punch to your face.
pop that clip off.
Yes. Here we go.
That's holding the cat. There you go.
All right, is that better?
That's so much better. We're eventually going to get that microphone right up to your lips.
All right.
That's the goal.
Okay.
But my question is, Jake Gyllenhaal, he delivers. Now, I want to go ahead and address something. I watched this movie this morning.
Oh, did you watch it?
I did.
All right.
Because I didn't want Jeff to be completely on an island, like pretty much what this movie was filmed on, an island.
Now, did you said you haven't seen the original?
I have not seen the original.
Okay.
And Tyler gets upset every single time somebody says they have not seen the original Roadhouse. I have not seen the original Roadhouse.
I just want to know how. How did you guys avoid Roadhouse?
Just never
I don't
entered
care about
my
Patrick
repertoire.
Swayze for the most part.
Have you seen
Same
Point
here.
Break?
Oh, yes.
See,
I've
I hadn't seen Point Break either.
Because I feel like those two movies go kind of hand in hand.
Dirty Dancing is probably the only Patrick Swayze movie I've actually seen.
I didn't love Point Break. I didn't love it. I'm
No comment.
be honest. But
Oh.
Patrick Swayze's never really done it for me. I'm totally agreeing with John on this one.
Man, I thought he was a
Finally
great
back on the
villain
same
in
page.
that.
God,
was
we're
right.
agreeing now.
I know, it's a very dangerous thing. This is a movie in Roadhouse that was filmed in the Dominican Republic. They're trying to make it look like it's the Florida Keys, but it actually was filmed for much cheaper at the Dominican Republic. It was basically filmed in one location the entire time. They make the
still
most of
100
that
million?
location.
It was still 100 million.
Still like 100. The production quality on this is pretty high, and the names in this are big. And
I would have liked to seen it in the theater. After seeing it, I wish I could have seen it in the theater.
Director Doug Liman agrees
Yeah.
with you, Jeff. He would have also liked to have seen it. Here was my quick reaction. You tell me whether or not you agree.
All right.
The movie was funnier than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. It was very aware of itself and a lot of cheeky humor along with all the.
When you say
gratuitous violence.
cheeky humor, there's a lot of male buttocks in this film.
There
And
is.
I'm so tired of being being a surprise in films that I watch. And it's happening to me all the time where I'd go to watch a film and it's a bunch of male behind in this. And I don't think that's going to sell a lot of people, but there you go.
I know the films you're talking about. I'm just watching. I'm watching you squirm about
I
it.
didn't have that written down, but that's the
no,
truth.
That's the old one had kind of the flip flop. You had more male nudity in this new one. The old one had more female nudity.
Yeah.
So we'll leave it at that.
Great music usage in
I
this.
thought the music was good.
It's really good. But Rockstar, they have a band that plays at the Roadhouse.
Jeff Healey band.
It's a different.
They didn't have the Jeff Healey band, so that's a problem.
Jeff Healey passed away, I think.
It's a different band every night, and each one of these bands is like a 6-person band. They all have different instruments. It is a full-on production. The sound is perfect. I didn't buy that that's the way that this Roadhouse would operate.
No,
Like,
I mean, were they performing in front of chicken wire?
Yeah.
I was about to say, it's like Blues Brothers when they showed up.
Perform behind those chicken wire
Yeah,
at any given time.
you're gonna have one house band. When it's a chicken wire, it's one house band because the guys that you know what you're getting into.
It's like Blues Brothers. They showed up at that one place. It's supposed to be a country band, and there's like it's like a 20-piece band showing up every single night. Yeah, that's not actually how it is.
But the music's actually good though.
the music's good, but like there's this old man who steals the scene that's got like maracas, and he's like playing the hell out of those maracas the entire time while people are punching each other out in the bar.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really a summation of what a lot of the film is.
There was no Jeff Healey, but they kind of made up for it with the good music behind it.
Is it the same, pretty much the same story?
Loosely, not exactly. I feel like it had a little bit more redemption for Jake Gyllenhaal than for Patrick Swayze. I mean, Patrick Swayze was kind of a little bit of a broken character, but he was more the hero, and Gyllenhaal's more of a like kind of getting a little redemption, maybe.
Did he give the? Does he give the be nice speech?
He tells him to be nice while he's getting his rear handed to him.
Oh.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of throwbacks like that in it, which
Spoiler
I appreciated. They didn't try to redo it or throw any shade to it. I feel like it was kind of a pretty good homage.
I think it was a perfectly fine streaming movie. It became exhausting. The final hour of this film.
Too much to think about.
The build-up is great. It's a 2-hour film, and you feel every minute of the second hour because it is just punch after punch, fight after fight, scene after scene, where people's bodies would obviously be broken beyond repair, and they're fighting in every capacity after being flung off of things, and it's totally
Can I ask
unrealistic.
It was very intense.
It's not a spoiler alert. If it is a spoiler, don't answer the question. Well, I guess if you don't answer, you're answering. To make it full circle, they make Roadhouse. Family Guy makes fun of Roadhouse, the original Roadhouse. Does the remake of Roadhouse do the Family Guy joke if somebody's going Roadhouse?
I don't remember.
I don't feel that.
If they don't do that,
Well,
that's a shame. That's a
We
shame.
do that
Missed
joke around my
opportunity.
house
Yeah.
quite a bit. So.
Just kicking one guy out and just going Roadhouse.
Yeah.
This bar is easily the worst bar ever. Like, why would anyone want to go to this bar?
Yeah.
Because every now and then somebody just gets up, I want to fight, and they just punch some random person next to them, and it's like,
Okay.
how does this bar stay in business?
Yeah, the insurance has got to be through the roof for employees.
Yeah.
The plot and stuff is pretty unrealistic, which, I mean, the original was the same way, though. So.
It is. The movie gets right to it. It's got a very fast pace to the first hour. It's got some really great cinematography at spots. But in the action sequences, Jeff, did it get on your nerves that like every time a punch is thrown, it like fast forwards? It's like video manipulation.
There was
in the
something
fight
different about
choreography.
it. I mean, it was there was something making it look more intense. That may have been what it was.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was pretty brutal.
It was a very
the original
brutal
is pretty
show.
brutal too, but it's.
What would you give it out of 5? What would be your ranking out of 5 stars?
I would say 3.5, maybe.
Yeah, I'm right around there. I'm probably at a.
I liked it.
I'm probably
I really
at a
did.
3.5. Overall, it's funny. It's exactly what it tells you it's going to be. Post Malone's in it a lot, which anytime he's in a film, I don't mind.
Is he hard to pick out?
He's not.
Oh,
He's not.
He
The movie
blends in.
starts like X-Men did. The movie kind of starts like X-Men did with Logan in the cage. And then it goes into almost the most recent version of Logan, in which we saw of a broken man trying to just make his life work and sleeping in his car, and and then he has to find his new employment opportunity and go protect this bar, and that's when we get Conor McGregor coming in, and he basically plays Conor McGregor. This movie's exactly what it promotes itself as being. It's not a thinker, and there's not. I will not be thinking about this movie a week from now.
does Conor McGregor's character have subtitles?
Conor McGregor's character has no pants. That's the biggest problem.
Okay, you've convinced me to watch it now.
Well,
He just
I knew
has
nothing
no
about
pants.
Conor McGregor
You guys
except
are-
for his name going into this, and I liked him as a villain. So.
Yeah, he has no pants. But that's one of the movies coming out this week. Roadhouse on Amazon Prime.
Roadhouse.
Later tonight, we should have reaction videos following the releases of several movies, including the movie I want to talk about first. That's Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. The early reactions and reviews coming in on this movie have been tepid at best. I don't know what the Rotten Tomatoes score currently is for Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, but it doesn't feel like there's a ton of enthusiasm and passion behind this film. I think it may actually end up underperforming this weekend. John, what's your current excitement level going into Ghostbusters Frozen Empire?
It's 47. Ghostbusters Afterlife, I thought was a very good kind of homage to what Ghostbusters was originally with Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters 2. You bring back the whole crew from the original one. And yes, I mean what I said. And that's where it kind of became divisive. This one sticks with most of them and brings back even more people from the original one. You know, I'm looking forward to it from the fact that I like Carrie Coon. Really good on The Leftovers, was in Infinity War, Endgame, all that. Big fan of Paul Rudd, also not in Infinity War, but in Endgame. And, you know, Finn Wolfhard from Stranger Things. So it's got a cast that you're like, the new plus the old. It's like, yeah, you know, I like pretty much all these people. But I'm only expecting to come out saying either, yeah, that was an all right sequel, like Afterlife was, or come out and say, it didn't do it for me, I guess I need to stop. And there's not going to be a, oh my gosh, this is incredible, or oh my gosh, this was terrible. I'm 100% confident it's not going to be either one of those.
Could the argument be made, Rockstar, that they should have, or as I like to call you now, Steven, could the argument be made they should have stopped after Ghostbusters 1?
The original Ghostbusters?
Mm-hmm.
So I am of the weird minority. I don't think Ghostbusters holds up. The original Ghostbusters.
You're probably right.
I was actually more of a fan of Ghostbusters 2.
Me too.
Oh.
Vigo.
Yeah.
I actually like that movie more and that plot line more. I saw the female version, Ghostbusters, with Melissa McCarthy. Did
2016.
did not think it was awful. Didn't think it was great. I got a lot of hate for no reason. I saw the new one with Paul Rudd and the girl from The Leftovers, as you say. It was okay, but I would not make a sequel to that. I don't like the ending of it because it was totally predictable and totally cheesy. And you can't bring back the original cast for a film, then make a sequel and bring back the original cast again. There's nothing exciting about that. Like, we already saw Bill Murray in the last one.
Jeff, you love 80s stuff. Where does Ghostbusters rank in terms of your personal enjoyment?
The original and the second one, I loved them. But I would be just as excited to go see the 2016 reboot as this sequel. Hot take, I guess, but
2016 getting a lot of love in here where it gets no other
I mean,
love
look,
on any other corner of the internet.
they're all just dumb movies. And these Afterlife movies try to make it into being something bigger or something. It was just a dumb movie. And 2016 was just a dumb movie. So,
Tyler, Ghostbusters, where are you at on it?
Love the originals. Haven't seen 2016 or Afterlife, but I love the original first two.
Okay. Well, that's all the excitement we can drum up for Frozen Empire, unfortunately. Can you tell we're really trying to figure out like how to get excited for this movie? I feel like you've got the worst assignment tonight because
no,
you've got the worst assignment tonight.
No, because I don't care anything about Immaculate. I don't care anything about Dancing with the Devil. I also don't care anything about Roadhouse, even though that would be much easier to go home and watch than the two horror movies. But
if you like the Fast and the Furious, I think you would like this Roadhouse movie because it's got a lot of that kind of.
There's probably a lot of old Patrick Swayze movies, which I said Dirty Dancing is the only one I've seen. That's not true. I haven't had one on my Lunce's list today.
He was in Donnie Darko.
Don't spoil it, Tyler. It's already been mentioned multiple times on the show. But y'all can't leave it alone. But
so you told Tyler your list?
No, you've both mentioned it nonstop, and it's like I can't just be like, there's a movie y'all mentioned 5,000 times already today. Anyway, I don't know what we were talking about, but
we're talking about
this weekend in movies, when it comes to September, it's going to be completely forgotten about.
So you've got Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire. Tyler and I both have Late Night with the Devil. And Jeff, you're going to see that movie tomorrow night.
Yes.
And your wife, my sister, is probably a much bigger horror movie fan than you are, but you still like them very much. You respect them. From what you've seen of Late Night with the Devil, is this a movie that excites you?
I'm curious. I mean, it looks like it's going to have some shock value. So
It definitely does. Tyler, I cannot wait to see this thing. It's one of my most anticipated movies of the year. And last time I checked, it was at 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
It's 97.
It may have dropped now because there's a little bit of controversy surrounding this movie now about AI imagery being utilized for the production of the film.
Yep, I'm not covering it anymore. I refuse.
Not falling for that trick twice.
Yeah, I didn't think you
This
would.
is what we're only in the mess that happened last year because of AI. That's why the Writers Guild and SAG-AFTRA and all of them were striking. And guess what? Your most anticipated movie is full of AI, so we're going to get right back into it again. Thanks a lot.
There's like 3 quick images in this that supposedly use artificial intelligence to create them. I haven't seen the movie yet. I don't even know what what those images are. I'm not going to look into it any further, but
Devil starts with small details and works his way
people
up.
are getting angry, and John considers this a big win because he doesn't want this movie to be successful. He doesn't.
This entire weekend is going to be completely forgotten in a few months.
He wants to see Late Night with the Devil perform like Love Lies Bleeding did, and he wants that to hurt me, and it's not going to hurt me. I'm not going to allow it to hurt me, but that's what he wants. We'll be going
My
with...
question is, why did they need AI for just 3 images?
Yeah, why did they just hire a Photoshop guy?
That's a good
I
question.
bet you what happened is they saw it, they said, that looks cool, let's keep it in the movie, and that was it. They said, this will be cheap and easy to test out and use. Oh, that's really neat, actually. Let's use it. That's probably what happened.
That actually makes sense.
That's
also
probably exactly what happened.
Terrible choices from production and direction. But
We'll be going and seeing this with Retro Joe, and we'll get him on the reaction video as well. And then Laurel will be tackling Immaculate solo. Tyler will also be tackling Immaculate solo. Tyler, out of Immaculate and Late Night with the Devil, which one of these 2 films are you looking more forward to tonight?
Ooh, that's tough. I know less about Late Night with the Devil, so I'm interested to see how that's going to play out. But I'm also interested in Immaculate. I think I might like Late Night with the Devil more. That's what I'm expecting. But I'm also expecting to get like a sort of Omen, Rosemary's Baby vibe from Immaculate.
And we got another Omen movie coming out. Every time I saw the
April
Immaculate
5th.
trailer,
those
I
trailers
thought
are always back to back.
they're always back to back, and I'm like, I get them confused. So
Why? I don't want to see these trailers.
how much will Immaculate benefit from coming out first? Because first Omen may get buried because people are like, we just saw that movie with Immaculate. Or even Late Night with the Devil has something to do with sort of this sort of exorcist kind of vibe to it.
Well,
So
Immaculate might do better just because of the whole Sydney Sweeney wave we're in right now.
we are, you say Sydney Sweeney wave. I don't believe the Sydney Sweeney wave is real yet.
I do, but it's going to drop off really fast, I think.
Sydney Sweeney was in Madam Web. Didn't help much there. That's been talked about. Sydney Sweeney was in that Anyone But You movie, and it actually overperformed. It did well. So she's 1-1. This is going to be a very important test for her, Immaculate.
Here's the other problem. We're also in a Glenn Powell wave right now. So if you're going to use that movie
That's
as
fair.
like it overperformed, he has Top Gun going into it. She has Euphoria going into it. That movie hits really well. Where do they go from here? Madam Web fell off a cliff. Immaculate, in the grand scheme of things, not a box office, juggernaut, but Twisters likely will be
Likely
pretty
will
good
be.
to where that will start to rise above the Sydney Sweeney wave, I think.
Who becomes a legit A-lister first? Sydney Sweeney or Glenn Powell? Who
Glenn
are you
Powell.
betting into? And Glenn Powell looks like he's got the better options for roles. And that is going to be a make or break sort of thing. Okay, we've talked a little bit about what Jeff loves. You've talked about Fast and Furious, and you love that. You came
By the
bearing,
way, yeah.
you came bearing gifts for John. I know one thing that excited you about being here, Jeff, is that you geek out over the Fast and the Furious, and you know that John truly cares about it too.
I didn't realize that was something we had in common until I started
Because
watching
Jeff
the
respects
show.
quality movies. So this is Dom's house. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see, but look, there's Paul Walker Supra. There's Dom's Charger, which was on Lunce's list, by the way.
Guess this means
And
something.
then there's the final scene when they have to race each other as he's running from the cops. They cross over, get past the train. This is right before Dom's Charger gets absolutely destroyed by an 18-wheeler, and he has to take the Supra. I'm sorry, the movie came out 23 years ago. He has to take the Supra and get out. Sorry.
All right,
That was a cool scene, though.
Really cool. It is a really cool scene.
very nice of you to come bearing gifts here, Jeff, but unfortunately all that means is more Fast and Furious content.
Heck yeah.
But are there any other things that John has mentioned in recent weeks that you have found yourself connected to? Because it seems like y'all are more similar than you are different.
Yeah, a lot of similarities there. I want to say some of those lists you've done some 80s movies in there that I liked.
Now you're drawing a blank.
Drawing a blank.
It's all
now.
good. Here's one thing I know you both love, and that's The Office.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay? I know
Absolutely.
that y'all can geek
That
out
was
about The
pretty-
Office.
Yeah, that was probably one of the
Have you
things.
heard there's a reboot coming?
Don't need that.
Does that make you nervous as an Office
It
fan?
does.
You don't want to see
More nervous than this Roadhouse thing.
You don't want to see new Office material?
Probably not.
It's not going to be in the same people, and
Yeah.
it was a formula that worked perfect.
And
And,
they're-
if TV shows was Lunce's list, this would probably be a number one, only knowing that it's coming.
Variety reports that The Office showrunner Greg Daniels is still looking to create a new series in the world of Dunder Mifflin. He's tapped Nathan For You co-creator Michael Coman to help lead the project. Coman's other credits include Saturday Night Live, The Colbert Report, How to with John Wilson, and Late Night with Conan O'Brien, for which he won an Emmy Award. Daniels and Coman would serve as co-creators of the prospective series, which has not yet been greenlit to series and is still in development at Universal Television. This is not a reboot necessarily of The Office, but is set in the same universe, so it's kind of a spin-off with none of the same characters, it feels like. However, I do feel like you're going to see some of the original cast making appearances on this in some way. If they're both working for the same company, you're going to see somebody. Give me a situation where bringing in the old with the new could work here. Like, who is a character that you'd like to see pop up in this new show very early on?
The only one that makes sense at all to me is Dwight, because he's the only one that was still in love with it at the end, because obviously Steve Carell left a couple seasons before the end. Jim and Pam end up moving to Austin at the end of it, and he's going with a totally different company. Ed Helms has totally removed himself from it and tried to become a star. I mean, everybody completely left except Dwight, who was regional manager at the time of the show ending. Creed got arrested. Stanley retired. I mean, literally, they tried to write everybody off of being it because it was the end of the show, and everybody's perfectly fine with that. There's literally zero reason to be like, you know what? I'm feeling nostalgic. Let's fly to Pennsylvania and go to our old paper company, the tiny little office. Literally nobody's going to do that except Dwight, who still seems to be part of it. But even he, remember they did an episode, and I don't know if you remember this, but they did a whole episode where they were going to do a spinoff of him with all of his farming stuff, and it didn't really hit, so they just moved on and said, we're not going to do that.
Right?
Yeah, and there's a whole thing where he fell in love with a girl who had a farm next to it, and that was going to be a whole storyline, and thank God they ended up putting it with Angela at the end. Steve Carell didn't even show up for the 2 seasons in between. He only showed up at the very, very end for Dwight's wedding. So you're not going to bring Steve Carell back for it either, because he moved off to Colorado. I just spoiled the entire ending of The Office once again.
That's fine.
Once again, it was like 20 years ago. But, I mean, it makes no sense, and to do it within the same universe, because the thing is, they brought in some new people that last episode, like Dakota Johnson's the one that pops to mind, that randomly started working at The Office at the end because it jumped ahead a year in the final episode. I mean, she probably needs work, so hey, bring her back because Madam Web was awful. There's people you could probably get, but it's not going to make any sense. This is just like the Harry Potter show on HBO Max. There's no reason to do it. You're simply trying to take a big IP, which still works on Peacock. You want people to buy Peacock. It's like Disney Plus. You want people to buy Disney Plus if you're Disney, right? Because you're losing money. You need to make more money off of it. If you're NBC Universal, you want people to buy Peacock. I watch Peacock every night because I'm still rewatching the old Office. Whether it's the new Office or the old Office, and you're saving money by just letting people watch the old thing that's so good.
They've released those Superman episodes, and there's a little bit more content there.
Yeah.
So.
Jeff, The Office ran from 2005 to 2013. It is a show you adore. What makes The Office click so well with you?
I worked 20 years in an office. And it just hits really close to home.
And the Office Space movie as well. I know that the
absolutely.
two.
I was about to say, it's so true how
Yeah.
Office Space is so true, and I didn't realize it until I started working in an office, and then the same with The Office too.
Hey, you guys will be happy to know there is another reboot that's coming, a classic television show.
Oh, God.
Baywatch. The reboot has found a home as Fox has closed in on a script and penalty deal for a new version of the long-running Surf and Sand and Saviors series from Fremantle. The original starred David Hasselhoff, as you may recall. Baywatch originally ran from 1989 to 1999 and then was retooled as Baywatch Hawaii from 1999 to 2001. Everybody here excited for Baywatch coming back
Didn't
to
they
the
make
small
this a
screen?
movie a few years ago?
They did with The Rock and Zac Efron. I never saw the movie. I never watched the show originally. The most Baywatch content I saw, excuse me, was, I'm talking way too fast. It was Pam and Tommy kind of looking into behind the scenes of Pamela Anderson and everything she went through with it. I don't care to watch it because David Hasselhoff, he probably would be a part of it for all I know.
He probably would. I'd rather see a Knight Rider reboot, though.
I would rather see Knight Rider reboot too. Pamela Anderson's not going to be a part of it because I feel like she's just kind of disappeared. I mean, why? Why do we have to do this?
Nobody's looking for that.
Look, everybody always complains. We have this argument on the next round all the time. Everybody always complains, hey, there's no original stuff anymore. I'm like, there's plenty of original stuff. You just have to kind of seek it out. It's not the big budget stuff. Late Night with the Devil, 90% of people don't know that it even exists. And Love Lies Bleeding, 90% of people don't even know that it exists.
99%.
And we'll see this weekend. Then Immaculate, even still, a lot of people don't realize that exists. I mean, Ghostbusters is the only thing just because it's a massive franchise already. And even still, it's not going to be saying, it's just a reboot. You don't want to see the reboots. You don't seek out the original stuff. So you keep doing the reboots thinking, well, maybe this will be the one. And they complain about it and they still watch it, but we just keep getting the same old stuff. Well, Harry Potter worked. Let's do that. The Office worked. Let's do that. Baywatch was cool at one point. I guess we'll do that. We're just going to keep seeing the same stuff over and over and over again. Network TV is dead. and they need to find a way to get around that, do a bunch of game shows, buy the live sporting rights, and move on.
Were you ever a fan of Baywatch, Rockstar? It doesn't look like it was your type of show.
No,
but
it wasn't.
Pamela Anderson, it was a good launching pad for her off of Home
CJ
Improvement.
and CJ and her underwater panties. It was. She was also in Home Improvement. She was the
Home
first.
Improvement,
She was there first, right?
Yeah,
And
she was
then-
the first.
yeah. Tool Time Girl.
Yeah, Holly. I can't remember, but no, I never. I think I've seen half of an episode. I don't understand how you can make a 43-minute episode or a series of people saving people that are drowning at
Lisa.
the beach.
Yeah, it was
And then
Lisa,
have-
and then it was Heidi.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Heidi. I liked Heidi better than Lisa, though. By the way, her name was Debbie Dunning. By the way, I tried to get her on the show, it hadn't worked. But no, I'm not. I didn't care about the Baywatch movie with The Rock, who seems to he didn't like to say no to scripts. No, I'm not. No. Then Howard Stern had his version of it, which was Son of the Beach. Remember that one?
I don't remember that one.
Awful.
It sounds like it was awful.
It was awful.
So night one of this debuting on Fox will be there for the watch party.
Yeah, I'll go. Yeah, I'll be there for the watch party.
Hey, Baywatch has found a new home on Fox. If you're looking for a new home, visit my friend Jim Wilson with Location Real Estate. Jim is still active with the U.S. military. He's able to help you secure the American dream of finding your perfect home. Maybe you're looking for a perfect beach home. I'm sure Jim Wilson can help you. He cares deeply about making sure you're completely taken care of during the biggest purchase or sale of your life. Jim's only happy when you're completely happy. Each of Jim Wilson's clients has his full attention and devotion to accomplish their goals, not only during the home buying or selling experience, but every day after. He's an advocate for you, not some corporation. Whether you're buying or you're selling, we recommend you visit our friend Realtor Jim Wilson with Location Real Estate, 205-329-4758. That's 329-4758, or visit jimwilson.locationre.com. All right, there's been a lot of movies over time. Which of them are so good that they should never be retouched? We hear about 5 of them right here live on Lunce's List.
What is this? What is this? Nonsense list, nonsense list, oh. What is this? What is this? Nonsense list, nonsense list, oh. Nonsense list to buy. Nonsense list to buy. Nonsense list to buy. Nonsense list to buy.
All right, John. Other than 2001: A Space Odyssey, which made the list yesterday in the number 1 spot, which is why we kept it up on the big board today.
And I forgot to erase it.
Well, I'm trying to provide you narrative cover.
Sorry.
I'm trying.
Anyway.
I'm trying to give it more flavor. And what do? You tell the truth. John, other than 2001: A Space Odyssey, I want you to name the 5 films that you truly feel never need to be remade. We already know one of the 5 because you had a breakdown
do.
halfway through here. So maybe that should be number 5. I don't know. But let's start with number 5 on Lunce's list. Is this
Godfather.
Godfather and all the sequels, probably.
And all
the-
good mob movies.
All good
Okay.
mob movies. Wow.
All right.
What about bad mob movies?
Bad mob movies can be remade. Jeff, do you have a favorite mob movie really quickly? Do you have one that stands out amongst the pack for you? Great answer. All right, let's go.
That's not my genre, really.
That was fantastic.
It's honestly not really my genre either, but there's a lot of quality movies within that
There is.
genre. Now, I think The Godfather's overrated, and the franchise is
It insists
overrated.
upon itself.
It does insist
is The
upon itself.
Departed a
It's a
mob
Family Guy
movie?
joke. Yeah, I'd say it is.
Okay, that then.
Goodfellas is probably my favorite one, but I say this because while I don't really care for The Godfather necessarily, I do care for movies like Goodfellas. And on the TV side, The Sopranos, you cannot, and I will firmly back this up, you cannot make a mob movie today. Period. End of story. Because the mob as it was versus whatever organized crime is nowadays has to be, I'm not a mobster or anything, has to be totally different.
Modern day mob movies, tough to make.
I think the best way to approach the mob now is what we saw with like,
The Town.
well, no, not necessarily. Something that's like very recent, like within the last year,
I'm with you, Tim.
is no, I like that. Fine. I'm just saying, I think the best approach if you're going to do like older school mob movies, and I use that very loosely, is like what they did with Tulsa King. I don't know if you watched Tulsa King.
I did not.
But
Sylvester Stallone.
It's basically he's an old school mobster, was in jail for a long time, comes out, tries to come back. Hey, I'm going to live my old ways. Hey, you can't do that. It's a different day and age now. He's got to go somewhere else and try to establish basically a new part of the family. And he runs into, I mean, this sounds bad, but he runs into all kind of hijinks of the new, hey, it's 2023, I guess 2022, whatever year is supposed to take place. That it's kind of funny in a way, but it also very much brings the real mob mentality to it. And that's more of the way you do mob movies as those mob movies are, but in the current day, if that makes sense. It's not the same kind of thing. You cannot recreate what you had with all the classic mafia stuff back in the day. So I think that's something you need to totally leave alone unless you do. You could go the town route. You can go the Tulsa King route. There's things you can do, but it can never be that ever again.
Rockstar, can you tell me in Tony Soprano's voice why mob movies should still be made today?
But it's a bit of a situation. The situation is that we just need to bring more family. We bring the family together, go out with college with Meadow. That's about it.
Thank you very much for that.
It's always been a situation.
I forgot that we can't
Situation and gabagool are always the words that.
Situation about the gabagool.
Okay.
She made my wife makes the best mozzarella. She does the best mozzarella.
All right. That
Also,
gets
one of the
me-
best office moments there, the gabagool.
That gets me every
but-
time. Can we please go to
anyway.
number 4?
I'm sorry.
You're okay. Oh, all right. Number 4. Jeff is like, what in the hell did I sign up for? I was not expecting this. Oh my gosh. All right. Number 4, 5 movies that cannot be remade.
yeah.
It would be
Totally agree with
Back
this
to
one.
the Future.
finally some DeLorean love.
Yeah, it took long enough.
I know that was something. Jeff very rarely punches walls. But when he heard the DeLorean did not make top 5 movie cars, Jeff, you were irate. You called me and immediately you were drunk and you called me and you crushed a beer
I
can.
remember, I must have been.
You crushed a beer can on your head during our phone
What's
call.
wrong with him?
And it drew blood. You were very upset.
No, I was honestly more upset that the Smokey and the Bandit Camaro was, or no, Smokey and the
The
Bandit
Trans
Trans
Am.
Am was not on there.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it would have been on the DeLorean would have been on my list too, and it would definitely been on this list.
It was
This is
number,
a
it was
makeup.
number 6, by the way. I didn't say it was terrible. It's
You know
let's
how
not
referees
forget that.
make makeup calls? This is John making a makeup call right here.
Look,
That's
I
what this
love
is.
Back to the Future. I know it's like Rockstar is not his favorite, one of his favorite movies of all time, but also
It's one of my favorites.
Also one where I like the second one better. But overall, you can't do something like this moving forward. I feel like it's something that every now and then might go through people's minds of like, hey, that was a cool thing. Let's go even further in the future, or let's go back to what it was in 1985 or whatever. You just can't do it. You got to leave it alone.
I
So-
thought, was there not something they said the clause that Zemeckis and Spielberg said that
Yeah.
we're never going to remake this like something like, because that always is brought up when somebody starts saying they're going to remake Back to the Future.
Once they go away, though,
Yeah.
I saw a fan casting here recently of who should be in the 2 parts. Tom Holland as Marty McFly and
I
Doc,
don't hate it.
Doc being played by Robert Downey Jr. But
Oh, I don't like the Robert Downey Jr.
I don't like the Robert Downey Jr. I don't mind the Tom Holland, but I don't like the Robert Downey Jr.
just throwing it out there. But there's all kinds of fan castings with those 2 roles. They're iconic. Would you go see the Back to the Future musical on Broadway?
We did a trash story. I really do think I would consider. I hate musicals, and that's something I would be interested in seeing. They said like it's a game changer because they actually bring a real DeLorean on the stage, and everything is supposed to be game changer when that
That
happens.
stupid car. Look,
They said they couldn't get an
I gotta
Ecto-Mobile.
keep the appearance up. Look, I think they do a really good job with a lot of the musicals that they do on Broadway. Beetlejuice, we were talking about Beetlejuice yesterday. I mean, the Beetlejuice, which is coming here to Birmingham next year, was incredible. But it also completely changed the story. Basically, the characters are the same, and very simple story fragments are the same, but they changed how they did certain things. I don't know if they would do that with Back to the Future or not, but that's something I would not want to see with Back to the Future, but I did like it with Beetlejuice. So it all depends on how they ultimately do that.
and Rockstar, you said the guy that played Biff is
Thomas Wilson.
Thomas Wilson is really nice in person, right? Didn't you
He
meet him
is.
in
He
person?
was one of those. I've met a lot of celebrities. Got to talk to a lot of musicians and celebrities, but he was one of the first like iconic film actors I saw. And when he was in studio with us, we were in a commercial break, and he was talking to Lance and Ian, and I was just staring at him. I didn't stop staring at him. He kind of looked over at me. He's like, "What are you looking at?" And the first thing I said was, "Butthead." And he just goes like, "That's pretty good. That's pretty good." But I was like, I was staring at him like he was Tom Hanks. Like I was just like, this guy's a national treasure. And that's the only time I've ever been like just shell shocked by a celebrity.
One of my favorite memories with Rocky was when we went to go see Back to the Future for your birthday in a private screening at the AMC. Rocky, you probably don't even remember this.
Yes, I do.
I'm just kidding. Okay.
I walked to the theater. It's right by my house.
You really did walk?
Yeah.
You should have taken the DeLorean there. It would have been great.
Oh, that's a terrible call.
Might have broken down.
Yeah.
Probably. I mean, you know.
So, or been shot to deth before you got to the thing because all those gangsters would be coming up looking for the plutonium. Okay.
Libyans.
Yes, Libyans. My question is not really a question, but my memory here is that during the movie, since it was a private screening and there was only like 20 of us, that Rockstar would yell something out during the movie of something that was about to happen because we've seen this movie 1,000 times. And then I would yell something out in the movie. He would laugh at my jokes. I would laugh at his jokes. And now we work together on a daily basis, and I like that very much.
It is fun to do
Back
like a
to the
Mystery
Future.
Science Theater version of movies like
Oh,
that.
it's great.
We know we're not spoiling for each other. We know every line, so you're not like interrupting when you start talking
so
or
great.
something. It is fun to do that.
The other night, the other 17 people that were there, because I don't include John because he obviously really enjoyed it, probably were annoyed, but I had a great time. I mean,
Oh, it was a good.
great.
I would really like to see releases like that again, where like the COVID year where they had a bunch of movies from 1985 that you could see in the big screen again.
Labyrinth just re-released into theaters, and I love Labyrinth.
Oh, seeing David Bowie's pants in the big screen. I mean, was he the Goblin King?
Yeah.
I mean, that's
That's
a
one I've
kid's
tried
movie.
to watch multiple times, and just it's not that I haven't liked it. It's just I'm always trying to watch it going to bed or something like that, and I haven't finished it, so I need to go see it. We should all go see Labyrinth.
Yeah.
Not a good movie based on David Bowie's pants to see in 3D re-release. That's not something you want to do.
You said not.
Not.
Okay,
Not.
not.
I was looking forward to it.
Not.
No. Rockstar walking into the showing with his 3D glasses and his Dune popcorn bucket. Let's go to number 3 on Lunce's list, but they only had just like 2 showings on one day at one theater, and I couldn't see the
What
Labyrinth
was
re-release.
the little goblin's name? The friend of Jennifer Connelly. That
Yes. My name's
Yeah.
Hoggle.
yeah,
Hoggle.
Hoggle.
I think it's Hoggle.
That mask
good?
that mask is actually was found at the prosthetic is at that airport or the unclaimed baggage thing in Alabama.
I love the little worm that pops out. Hello.
Yeah.
I saw that.
And the
I saw
hands
other
that
day.
grab her.
Oh my
No
gosh.
thanks when she's falling down.
Gosh, I love Labyrinth. The
you
little
go.
fox guy, yeah. The Bog of Eternal Stench. All right. Number 3.
Overrated. Big Lebowski. Sorry.
It's not my favorite Coen Brothers movie, but I thought it was the one that best
That's
would
just your opinion, man.
illustrate my point here. That I feel like everything the Coen Brothers have done has been very of the moment. They're like Big Lebowski was very of the moment. Oh Brother Where Art Thou is probably my favorite movie of theirs. It's very much of the moment. I don't know that you can. They've had a lot of classics, and I don't know that you can remake any of them. Now,
I agree.
they did Fargo as a TV show, but it's not like just straight up remaking the movie. So there's stuff like that out there, but almost everything they've done. And honestly, I'm not a giant Coen Brothers person in general, but they do have plenty of quality movies. They have a very large filmography in general between the two of them, either together or separate. But all of their movies fit a moment in time and cannot be remade for 2024 and beyond, I think.
I want to get into some of y'all's lists that you're throwing there in the chat. Let's go to Brock, who says, at number 5, and this is a movie that both you and Rocky love very much, Pee-wee's Great Adventure,
Yeah,
but
I didn't leave that.
it's Pee-wee's Big
it
Adventure.
alone.
Big Adventure. Yeah, you can't make. Who's going to play Pee Wee? Oh, what's the guy's name from Sheldon from Big Bang Theory? I seriously think he would be the perfect Pee Wee.
Probably
Jim
so,
Parsons, yeah.
That's one thing that Rocky, you and Jeff have in common is a big love for Pee-wee Herman.
I was obsessed. It was uncomfortable. It was a bad
Did you
obsession.
see that movie re-released in the theaters at some point?
I'm not. I would go
Pee-wee's
see
Big
it though.
Adventure?
Absolutely.
That movie always freaked me out.
Oh, it was a scary movie. Like that's not a movie you should see
That may
as
have
a
been
child.
1984, so it may come out of the theater.
Yeah, it's
this year.
Tim Burton's first directorial film, right?
It was
Towards the
scary.
beat.
It was
They
scary.
do them on every 20, 30, 40 year anniversary. So
Yeah, Brock also throws out Porky's, Harley and the Marlboro Man, Hooper.
That's Todd Johnson and no, it's Mickey Rourke and Harley Davidson, the Marlboro Man.
Yeah. And Helen and Louise. I don't know what.
Thelma and
I
Louise.
think
Yes,
I think
it's Don Johnson and Mickey Rourke.
Brock.
Yeah.
I think you need to work on your titles here a
Yeah.
little bit. And then we have Brian bringing some heat here. Number 5, Sixth Sense.
Any twist movie like that,
Doesn't
you
work.
can't, you can't
It
remake.
just doesn't work with a
Yeah.
remake. Doesn't work. I tried rewatching The Sixth Sense a couple of years ago. I think we both did. We did a podcast
It's tough.
sort of rewatch. I don't think it holds up well. I don't think
Donnie
it holds
Wahlberg
up well.
I
looks
think
rough,
it's
doesn't he?
fine, but you cannot watch it once you know the twist. That's the problem. Anything with a twist, can't be remade because you are gonna know unless you absolutely change the movie. In which case, it's
Well,
not really
I
a
argue
remake.
against that because I was probably one of the few people that enjoyed The Village, and I have watched that. I wouldn't watch it multiple times, but I've seen it again, just looking for clues and stuff like that for The Village.
Yeah.
Donnie Wahlberg, underrated actor in my opinion. Sixth Sense for Brian at number 5. If there were 6 spots, that would have been perfect there. Number 4, Shawshank Redemption, which everyone loses their mind over, and that's great. But
That's another twist.
it's one of those that everybody throws out. And, you know, I don't disrespect the list. I'm just, Shawshank is so loved by so many, and it's constantly a part of film discussion. Number 3, Napoleon Dynamite. Number 2, Fight Club. Number 1, Forrest Gump. Should never be remade according to
I will
Brian.
say Fight Club was an honorable mention for me.
Laurel has a lot of strong opinions on this list. Let's get to number 2 and see if this is where we finally get to, much like Baywatch, the pair of double Ds we're looking for.
Oh my God!
Is that a bad joke?
No, David Duchovny.
No. Is this the one?
Dungeons and Dragons.
There it is, double Ds. Donnie Darko at number 2. That's what the double
Made it
Ds
easier
were.
for me to just write 2 Ds. Yes, Donnie Darko.
I thought that was a funny Baywatch transition. I thought that was good.
I thought it was pretty good.
Thank you.
Now, this is obviously going to make the list because with the Crow remake, reboot, whatever it is, we brought up how that's very much a cult classic. And I said, yeah, you can't remake cult classics. They are cult classics for what exactly they are. And I used Donnie Darko as the example. So very much so, you cannot remake Donnie Darko. Obviously, Jake Gyllenhaal cannot play a school-age child anymore in that, nor his sister, Patrick Swayze, obviously. Yeah, you would have to recast such iconic roles from that movie. One of the best things about Donnie Darko, though, is the lesser cast in that. People like Seth Rogen, Drew Barrymore. There's a lot of people in that
The
like
Big
Jenna
Giant
Malone.
Bunny.
the Big Giant Bunny. What'd you say?
Jenna Malone.
Jenna Malone is in it.
She was in Love Lies Bleeding, John. Did you know that?
She was in Love Lies Bleeding.
They so bad want to see us fight. We won't do it. We're not going to take
Best
the
movie of the
bait.
year, yeah. Yeah, no, you can't remake the absolute cult classics out there unless it's like, I say that and I use The Room as an example. That's a cult classic for being so bad it's good. If you're making fun of it, like what the Disaster Artist did or what Bob Odenkirk did with his version, that's fine, but this is not one of those. This is a serious movie. This has twists to it. This has so much that you just can't touch it.
If I had given you a list today of 5 best Jake Gyllenhaal movies, this would have been number 1 for you.
Yes. I believe.
Or the 5 best, the 5 favorite. It can be 2 different things there, but I don't
I'd have
think
to look, but
Roadhouse will
probably.
ever make your list.
Roadhouse would not be on
But
that
have
list.
you seen Nightcrawler?
I have seen Nightcrawler. I like Nightcrawler.
Okay.
I like October Sky. I like his movies. I didn't say he was bad. I just said he's not the
notice-
single best actor to never win an
I
Oscar.
was just checking to see if you've seen
Tom
Nightcrawler.
Cruise hasn't won an
'cause I
Oscar.
think that
He's
one's the best.
miles ahead
You
of
notice
Jake
he just
Gyllenhaal.
gets angry and starts arguing and we're not yelling at him? Do you ever notice that? It scares me very much.
You implied I didn't like his movies. I do. He's not the best to never win an Oscar.
Any honorable mentions before we get to number 1?
Fight Club was an honorable mention. Not my favorite movie for Brad Pitt or Ed Norton or anybody, but good movie. The Green Mile is one I actually could see them one day doing. It kind of falls along the same lines as Shawshank. It's a Stephen King, very much a Stephen King adapted thing already, so it's already kind of using source material. Home Alone, I considered. I feel like that cannot be remade. Little old school Wizard of Oz, Sound of Music, 2 movies that cannot be remade. Now Wizard of Oz, I know with Wicked and stuff, lives on, but just the Wizard of Oz you can't do. Sound of Music is a classic. You can't touch that, I don't think. Silence of the Lambs, I know there's a million Hannibal things out there, but you can't just remake that movie and replace Anthony Hopkins and Jodie Foster. And then Revenge of the Nerds. I know you love Mads Mikkelsen, but you can't replace what that single movie was, though. And then Revenge of the Nerds. I don't think you can remake Revenge of the Nerds for what it was with technology back then and try to bring it to technology today. However, I fully believe in the next 10 years we will get a Revenge of the Nerds reboot.
Okay, those are pretty strong there. I noticed the numbers on your list. They keep going down and down and down. And I noticed yesterday during our weigh-in, the scale keeps going down and down and down. At Way to Wellness, we like seeing those numbers plummet. What's wrong with that? That's a really good setup
didn't
for
say
something
that.
we're very excited for. We're excited for number 1. What is this? That's a big number there. We've been excited about partnering up, John, with Way to Wellness. Tell the good people about what program they can join to to an even healthier situation here in 2024.
Lunce's list is only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but 18. That is the number yesterday when Tim and I went that we had dropped since our last weigh-in. Thanks to our friends from Way to Wellness. Go to aplanforme.com. You can learn more about Way to Wellness there. Everything Leslie and her board-certified team can do for you. They've done great for me. I'm over 40 total. Tim is starting that journey as well. Jim Dunaway obviously has done really good. My dad has done good. A lot of people on that program. So make sure to go visit them, get that consultation, see what is right for you at Way to Wellness.
Let's go to number 1 on Lunce's list. This is the big unveiling. Jeff, I know you're very excited. You're on the edge of your seat.
Oh, God.
Yes.
I don't know. What did John just do?
He tripped up.
We had somebody leave a chat saying John needs Bluetooth earphones.
Oh, God, I broke my headphones.
You broke your headphones? Oh, we are live right now. This is a very bad time to be doing this, John. This is what happens when you talk bad about Jake Gyllenhaal.
I'm caught in it again.
Yeah, you're in it.
Jeff, I blame you somehow.
Probably.
You're up to no good over there.
Hastily right, number 1. That's only 2 letters also.
Oh, yeah.
The shortest
Good
thing
thing.
you've ever written up there, and that's when you decide to break your
Yeah,
headphones.
sorry, okay. Well, that's why I wrote 18, because I knew it could fit there. E.T., my favorite movie of all time, absolutely cannot be remade ever, ever, ever in the history of forever. A lot of people were saying Jaws in the chat. When I told my wife this, she said Jaws is number 1.
Jaws has to be on the 5. It has to be.
But with E.T., a lot of Spielberg things cannot be remade, including Jaws. But E.T. is by far number 1. I don't care about Jaws, personally. It's fine. It's whatever.
Quick bet here.
They've also made 5,000 versions of Jaws.
I want to start with Rocky. If I was to tell you that one of these is definitely going to be remade in the next 5 years, which one is getting remade?
E.T.
You think so?
Yeah.
Oh, no chance. I'd say
Because it
Godfather.
can go for the kids.
What do you think, Tyler, would be your bet of the movie that would be remade out of this list of 5 within the next 5 years, if one of them was?
Ooh, I would say either E.T. or Donnie Darko, because this Crow remake has me feeling like they're just gonna start churning out remakes for all the '90s.
Only if it makes
kids.
money, though.
Jeff, what's your vote?
I'm going with E.T. or Donnie Darko also. I don't think those other ones.
See, I'm with John. E.T.'s not going to be remade, but we could see like a Netflix series or something about E.T.
E.T.?
Oh yeah, I wouldn't be shocked.
Only because of Stranger Things working, but I feel like
Yeah, bringing back just the character of E.T., not doing a full-on remake, but just relaunching
Like,
the
where is
character.
he now?
Yeah, something.
I also feel like the general, maybe I'm wrong on this, but I feel like the general audience with just straight up practical effects looks down on that now because, well, CGI is to a point now. We can do whatever we want to. If you did it, you would have to use practical effects, I think.
I think Donnie Darko is probably the correct answer of the IP that may be mined into at some point.
Because they did do a sequel, S. Darko, that was not well received at all. Obviously, Back to the Future's had sequels. Godfather had sequels. I think it's Godfather, honestly, of any of those.
I know you're a big Conan fan, Rocky. I am too. Do you remember the Paul Rudd, Mac and Me stuff?
Oh, he
We
still does
Oh,
it.
yeah,
He still does it.
Yeah,
But
he did it on his podcast.
Brian brought up that they did make an E.T. reboot. It's called Mac and Me. That cracks me up every single time. It makes me
It was
laugh.
a weird looking thing, but what made me laugh, there's a subreddit called Deep Inside of YouTube, where people say like there's these funny videos that people have done that only have like 100 views, and I saw one and somebody did this whole CGI thing called Robert E.T. and it's the Confederate general, and it's E.T. and all these historical photos, and that's the only time I think I made Lunce for. It's like a minute, but it's like done to like Civil War Journal. But it's called Robert E.T. and it's the funniest thing because it's so stupid, but it's so creative, and it had like 60 views on YouTube. Sorry, that's why I was laughing. It's right when I thought of E.T. I was like, God, I miss Robert E.T.
Wasn't expecting that.
I wasn't either.
Jeff, we learn all sorts of things here on the Meltdown. Appreciate you being a part of the episode
Enjoyed
today.
it.
How was your first experience?
I liked it.
Okay, good. But between now and your second time being on here, maybe we get a sequel to the Roadhouse relaunch.
They definitely set it up for a sequel, don't you think?
I think so. We'll see.
And I'd
Will
watch
it be
another
released
one.
in theaters, though?
No, it will not. Amazon will buy up all. It probably already bought up the rights for the sequel. Who knows? But that's going to do it today for the Meltdown. John, we're always having a good time here in the Culver studio. We had a really good time eating Culver's yesterday. What did you have from Culver's? You had some of their chicken tenders.
Yeah, that's kind of my go-to there. Whether original or spicy, I like their chicken tenders there. And the Butterburgers are great. The fries are great. Everything's great.
Absolutely. Make sure you're staying tuned there to mybookie.ag for all the latest with college hoops, especially this time of year. A lot of people losing their mind over that. You have a chance to win a lot of money over at MyBookie.ag. We've got all of these different videos coming out tonight, reviewing our quick out of the theater reactions to Immaculate, to Late Night with the Devil, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Make sure you're staying tuned to the channel for that. Subscribe. Give us a like on this video. It really helps a lot for sure. We also have a House of the Dragon trailer reaction that has dropped today on the channel. Make sure you check that out as well. We appreciate you being here on The Meltdown, presented by MyBookie, broadcasting live from the Culver studio.